Hi, I'm Kathy Lindsay. Welcome to FPB's Meet the Candidates. This Cable 10 program allows you, the viewer, to hear directly from our candidates about issues that are important to us. We've collected questions from the community, and now we get to hear from the candidates their views on how they think things should be in our community. And so we're glad today to have Judge Huston Wells. He's our current county judge, and he is running for re-election. And this is all leading up to the primary on May 17th. So first of all, I want to welcome the judge.
Thank you. Welcome. Well, I appreciate you having us. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, we appreciate your time because we know you're very busy. But we thought it was a good opportunity for you to speak with the community itself. We've gathered questions, and we can just talk about things that are going on here.
That's great.
Okay. But in case there's people here who aren't familiar with you, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of your history and how long you've been the judge and what other positions you've held and things like that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that opportunity.
Sure.
Thank you once again, Cable 10, for being here to inform our community. This is a great opportunity. As you said, we're going to have questions, and this is an opportunity for me to introduce myself for those people that don't know me and to just reaffirm who I am. So I am Huston Wells, the county judge, and I've been county judge for 2 terms. I'm seeking my 3rd term. I've also served as magistrate. I've served as city commissioner and the mayor of Frankfort. So I do think that I'm the only one in the state of Kentucky, and I've tried to check this and most have verified, that I'm the only person in the state of Kentucky that has been elected city commissioner, elected mayor, elected magistrate, and elected county judge.
Wow, well, that's impressive.
It just says who I am, and that is a public servant to the people. Being a public servant on this side, the political side, is one aspect of my life. On the other aspect of my life, prior to this, I was a teacher and a principal, assistant principal, counselor principal, assistant principal in the Franklin County school system, and I loved being a teacher and involved with the kids. I miss that still, but it was just important to me to give back to the community and to help people.
So what do you think? I mean, experience as a teacher in that area of education, how do you feel that has been a good experience for you on the fiscal court and on the city commission and in your positions that have been elected?
You know, that's a perfect segue. I love that you asked that. Thank you. Because it really fits perfectly, because whether you're dealing with kids or adults, you're dealing with people. And part of dealing with people is listening. What people want is, as an elected official, as an administrator, as a teacher, with kids want to be listened to, adults want to be listened to, and they want to know that you feel that what they're saying is important. So listening skills is something that I feel like is a big part of me, and I've learned that through all of these different roles that I've had. And I'm very much in tune to what people say and how they say it, and try to do what I can to make them feel comfortable talking with me and listening to what they have to say.
Okay. As you well know, being on the fiscal court and as county judge as well, that in that position you have a lot of organizations that come and they need money and they have projects. And if we're dealing with the homeless or the Humane Society or the schools or broadband expansion, there's always needs in our community. How do you deal with those requests, and then what do you see? What are your priorities as far as investments in our community?
Well, first of all, when we're going to take the what you said, investments in our community, and investments in the community is what government should be all about, because as we invest in our community, we help our community to grow and be better. And that should be the goal. That's my goal, is to make our community better. So investments are a big part of making our community better. Now, how do you go through that? There are lists of them, and we don't have enough money to give everybody all that they want. But when we do get money, and we've been blessed in the past year, 2 years, we've gotten extra money. And I call it extra money because the federal government has looked at the pandemic, which we hopefully are coming out on the back end of it now, as we sit here and talk without masks.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
It is wonderful. It's wonderful, and we can go out without masks.
Sure.
But as we go through this, those monies that are given to us, they're called ARPA monies and COVID monies, that we use those monies wisely. We don't just, because we have you got a big pot of money, you don't just go out and just spend it. You look at it on what the needs are from our community, and you spend it wisely, and you what you do is if what we have done in fiscal court is we form committees to listen to the concerns and taking those monies and do what we can to help those people through investments.
Okay. Well, speaking of spending wisely, being more efficient, maybe not having the money that everybody needs, we ask this question every time. Is it time to revisit a merged form of government to create more efficiencies because of the lack of money that we have in our community?
Well, I'm going to be straight up with you and
Please
say
do.
that as long as I've been served on both the city and the county, I believe merged government would be a better form of government. I believe it would be a savings, and I would think that it would be a way for our community to grow quicker and even better. But I don't think our community is quite there yet. I think that there are a lot of naysayers, people that don't like it and are concerned about it, and their concerns should be addressed. So I don't believe that we should rush into this. I think we should take our time and really go through the process, and it is a process to merge. It's not, you just don't just say we're going to merge. You have to go through a process, and I think there are a lot of concerns out there that people have, and those need to be addressed. And if we go through the process and we do it correctly, and hopefully, and as part of that, we come up with a plan that people can see that it would be helpful and it would not be more expensive tax-wise, and it'd be so much more beneficial to the community that there would be buy-in.
Okay. Well, I have an example for you.
Okay.
In our community, we have two different park systems. We have, city parks, and they have a master plan. And in Lakeview Park, we have the new park plan for Lakeview. How do you feel about merging just the two parks departments for better efficiencies?
I'll go back 7 years when I first came in. I brought the two parks directors at that time. They were Charlie Lewis and Jim Parrish, and I sat them down and I said, I'd like for you guys, if you would, and the city commission was aware of this, I'd like for you to look at Woodford County, Shelby County, and Scott County, the counties around us that have parks.
Yep.
See what you could come up with, and let's model those, and let's look at putting our parks departments together. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. We got together. They came up with a great plan.
Yeah.
The city and county met. I thought it was going great. And I told somebody the other day there was about 10 minutes to go when we were finishing up. Great presentations. Somebody said, this sounds like merger, and it was completely dead. Just on that word, merger.
Yeah.
And that's why when you asked me that question, merger is a delicate word as we move forward. But I feel strongly that we can do things in this community better if we work together. Parks is a perfect example of an easy piece.
Sure.
And it would hugely, especially, I'm sure you're going to ask a few things about the master plan. I'm sure that's coming. But as part of the master plan and what is being asked for, what is what really needed in the plans, I think working together, we can come up with that. I do have another idea that on that same line. I think parks is one. Number two, I think our planning and zoning people need to be together. We don't have to merge the planning and zoning immediately.
I have questions about that too.
But they should be in the same building. So,
yeah.
Okay.
So let's get back to parks for a minute, because Lakeview does have a new park plan.
It does.
And I know you're very familiar with it. You sat on that committee. So how do you feel about the plan? Is it something you support?
Okay. So that's not an easy question to. There's several parts to it.
Okay, well, tell me.
Let's go by concept.
Okay.
Instead of just the plan. The concept of having recreation facilities that our community can use and that would be beneficial to our young people as well as our older people. Yes, I think we should. And I think that can be done. I do feel like that what is being proposed, and I voted against it, the park master plan is not suitable for Lakeview Park.
Okay.
And just as an example, some have heard this and I'm going to say it.
Okay.
The building that is being proposed is a recreation facility and a convention center. Together, those buildings are going to be about 160,000 square foot building.
That's big.
Very big.
Yeah.
When you go back and a way to compare it is the Civic Center that was torn down. Everybody knows the Civic Center, the Convention Center was 20,000 square feet. So you're looking at a building 8 times the size of the Convention Center right in the parking lot, basically, of Lakeview Park. It's too big. It's Lakeview Park is not where that needs to be. So if the city and county work together, and private organizations too, I think we can come up with another area in town that would be close to the interstate, that would be close to hotels, that would be close to restaurants. Because this concept that is being proposed from Lakeview Park is really not so much for us in this community. It's a regional concept. It clearly states that. As a matter of fact, in the plan, it states Monday through Thursday, Franklin Countyans will be able to use Lakeview Park and the facilities. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it will be for regional use.
Okay.
So
what does that mean?
What that means is that there are going to be these tournaments.
I see.
And there'll be 20 teams or 30 teams from other places that'll come in, and one weekend it might be the way it's designed. It might be pickleball tournaments. The next weekend it might be volleyball tournaments. The next weekend it might be basketball tournaments. And those, yes, we might have a team. We might have a team that'd be there, but really it's for regional use. And that is the way it's proposed to be funded, but that's something else that I have an issue with.
So, and just trying to get an explanation in ways that I and maybe viewers can understand it better, is they want to make it that big to produce the revenue that will be needed to build it. Is that?
In theory, that's right. It's also going to serve as a convention center too, so that's another piece of it. But that there's not been much exploration into what that's going to entail. But yes.
Well, speaking of how much it's going to be, it's not going to be cheap. It's expensive.
You got that right.
And we have to pay for it. So what is the best way to get it paid for?
I'm going to kind of go around the circle on that one because first of all, it's too big. Secondly, it doesn't need to be at Lakeview Park. Third, and we've talked about. Thirdly, the only way we can build it and then maintain it is with city and county working together. It cannot be. There's no way that Franklin County government can do this on its own. What is happening here is this, and it's a concept, and if you just take it on its literal sense, you can accept it, but you have to look deeper. That's the job of people like me as the judge, to be fiscally sound in what we do.
Right.
But what is being proposed is that this statement: if you build it, they will come. And
sounds familiar.
it does, absolutely. But it's not the field of dreams, type of concept. But what happens here is this is an indoor facility.
Yeah.
Indoor facilities, you have to maintain every day of the year. You have to heat in the winter, you have to cool in the summer. You have to maintain these buildings, and they're very, very costly. So a rough estimate on what this would cost is about $60 million in today's prices. $60 million to build the facility. There is no steady stream of income. This is all based on, if you build it, they will come. Government, you can't run a government and be sound financially on a hope and a prayer and they'll come. We can't do that. So in order for, you ask, and this goes back to your question, in order for us as the community, and I mean us, city, county, even state government, as well as our industries, in order for us to do this, what we're talking about, there's going to have to be some type of tax in a way that will give us a steady stream of money. I have been part of, through the Judges Association, and even gone to legislators and talked about a restaurant tax, and other communities have used the restaurant tax to fund these types of things. But there it becomes a steady stream of income. And it would take the city and county together to adopt, quote unquote, like a 3% restaurant tax. If that were to happen, then there'd be $4 to $6, $7 million a year coming in, and that would clearly allow us to look again at this type of concept, to come up with an idea that we could all support.
Okay. So in talking about things that are going on in our community and this need and to bring in revenue, we're talking about economic development.
Amen.
It's a big need here in our community. So a lot of people have different ideas of what that means. So how would you define economic development?
Let's first go back to what you just said. A lot of people. It is broad. Economic is development is broad. Economic development encompasses jobs. It encompasses growth. It encompasses education, businesses, and even back to housing. All of those pieces come together, and all of those pieces form what I believe is economic development. Economic development is like the umbrella for all of these other things that are its foundation. And so economic development is an engine, and it drives us and makes us better as a community. And I fully support economic development. And I don't know where your questions are going, but I do think that the city and county have been together and understand each other. I understand the needs of the city. I think the city understands the needs of the county. We both understand what our assets are and what our liabilities are, and so I think this is one area where we are working together as a community in trying to help our whole community grow.
Okay. Well, as part of that, and as viewers and voters and people in the community, we watch the meetings and we see a lot of talk. We hear about comprehensive plans, master plans, strategic planning. Plans are great, and you have to plan, and we know that. But it comes down to actions. So what actions do you think are important to take in order to just spur some economic growth here in our community?
Great question. Thank
Yeah.
you. Because it leads right into, from the county side,
Yeah.
one of the biggest pieces of economic development, as I told you, as what all it encompasses, is happening right in front of our eyes. And that is, there's a situation in the southwest quadrant of our community along 127 South, right on the Anderson County border, and that is the Farmdale area. The Farmdale area was developed, subdivisions were put out there in the 70s, and they were made under a concept that allowed you to have your own treatment plant. And it worked for a while. It did. And so we have Farmdale, we have Coolbrook, we have Evergreen. We have those areas that are subdivisions and in the county, and they're on a system. But the system is broken, completely broken. And so what we're doing from the fiscal court standpoint, what I'm adamantly trying to push, and that is get monies to replace that system with a sewer system from the city. And when sewers, as a big part of infrastructure, get in place, growth can start happening.
Okay.
So that area is prime for growth in many different ways. And when I say that, I know there are people that out there listening are saying, oh my God, it scares them.
Yeah.
We can do this.
Okay.
Most of the time,
Yeah.
communities don't have an opportunity like this, as big as this can be, to start from scratch.
Yeah.
This would be starting from scratch,
Okay.
and we can do this in a way that we can all be proud of, that we don't have to say, oh, there's too much growth, too many stoplights,
Okay.
too much of this and too much of that.
Well, I have questions about that
I
too.
figured that was coming.
But I do want to get to KCDC first. What do you think is the role that KCDC should play in economic development vision here for our community?
First of all, let me say this. I support KCDC.
Yeah.
I appoint members to the board. I think that KCDC has to look at our community. And when I say this, I think they do, but some would say they don't. But I feel like they really do.
Okay.
And they look at our community as a whole, and they look at as I go back to what cities' needs are, what counties' needs are, what the county's needs are, what the city's assets are, infill, counties, industrial areas. So there's a balance there. What KCDC does and should do is find that balance and work for new industry, and just as hard for support of those industries that are here. Workforce is a piece of that. Monies, where monies are, KCDC, economic development, is finding monies for our business, our local businesses, and helping them out.
Yep.
So it's comprehensive, but in a nutshell, that's what I think.
So you support the fiscal court's continued funding for KCDC, the funding that you provide to them?
I do, and I support fully funding them. The fiscal court has cut them, and I don't support that at all.
Yeah.
I think we need to fully fund them, because when we don't, we tie their hands, and that doesn't help.
Okay. And then kind of a similar question about DFI, Downtown Frankfort, Inc. Now, does the county fund them in any way?
Used to. They cut that.
They cut that. How do you feel about that?
I'm against that.
Okay. Well, I just want to make sure.
I'm firmly against that.
Okay.
DFI is a piece of economic development.
Yeah.
It's a major entity that helps strictly downtown.
Yeah.
But what we can't get lost in this conversation, and as we move forward in this community, that downtown Frankfort is the heart of our community. It's our heart. Everything else is like the arteries, the veins going out.
Yeah.
But if we don't take care of our heart,
Yeah.
we're not going to survive.
Yeah.
And that's why I support DFI, because I see what they do. And to be honest with you, I hear it all the time. One of the best things we have going for us, one, is our Friday night concert series. When you can get every other Friday 2,000 or 3,000 people coming downtown, supporting your downtown, having fun.
Sure.
It's great. It's great for who we are.
Right. Right. Well, I need to move on.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I love it. We talked about development and people maybe being afraid of that, or that kind of thing. So we have several development projects going, or in front of the fiscal court, in front of the city commission. But a lot of people talk about how you have to find a balance, but it would boil down to, are you pro development or are you pro preservation? And which do you think is more important?
I think as you said, there is a balance. I don't think you have to.
Is there a balance?
Well, it's set up. The sides have set it up where there's not a balance.
Yeah.
I don't think it has to be
how do you
one
get
or the
there?
other. Because, well, first of all, let me say,
Sure.
I'm pro-growth.
Okay.
Without question, I'm pro-growth.
Okay.
We have to grow.
Yes.
We have to grow. But you can still grow. As I told you about Farmdale, it scares people. And it scares the anti-growth.
Yeah.
And I understand that.
Yeah.
But growth doesn't have to be a bad thing. It can still be a good thing. There are many good things that are on the side of the anti-growth. Good ideas.
Yeah.
Good concepts. Those concepts can be implemented in a pro-growth means as well. So I don't think in my opinion, it doesn't have to be one or the other. Right now, it is one or the other, and that's unfortunate because each side is speaking loudly.
Yeah.
And actually, the anti-growth is speaking louder than the pro-growth right now.
Yeah.
And when that happens, you form two different groups.
So let's talk specifically.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about Buffalo Trace.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So some people may not be aware, and this is a good opportunity to talk about it, that Buffalo Trace is proposing expansion into the Peaks Mill area. There are people who have concerns about that. Again, the growth versus preserving the Peaks Mill area. So, are you in favor of allowing the bourbon warehouses to be built in an area that is currently zoned agricultural, residential, rural residential?
Well, I'm going to kind of rephrase that question because to me the question is: Are we in favor of supporting Buffalo Trace and its expansion?
Okay.
And I will say yes. Buffalo Trace is huge, huge to our community.
Yeah.
And this goes back to one side or the other. And I figured that's where you were going, Kathy. I kind of know. But when you look at it, there's never going to be when Buffalo Trace expands a perfect spot.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to have something to say. What I know that Buffalo Trace is doing, because the mayor and I have been part of our talks with Buffalo Trace, they've asked us to look at other areas and other possible land areas that could be used. And we've done that, and we've given them several options. I know they're looking at it, and I know right now they're pursuing this one piece that they've of property that I know that they're looking at that very strongly.
Yeah.
But I also feel like there could be other options, and don't know where they're going to go with that. Right now, it sounds like they're heading in this one direction. But I do think we have to find a point where we support Buffalo Trace. I think it would be disastrous to our community for Buffalo Trace to say, we're gone.
Yeah.
And I've heard that could happen, and it scares me. You've got to, it's not just the employees, even though those are big.
Right.
It's the tourism aspect of it. It's the company aspect of it, of what they give back to our community.
Yeah.
It's the taxes that we receive.
Right.
I have county judges talk to me all the time about economic development. And they say, gosh, I wish we had the assets that Franklin County has. You all have so much. You've got Buffalo Trace. We have Jim Beam too. You know, we're talking about Buffalo Trace, but Jim Beam is another partner.
Yeah.
And we have Three Boys, and we have some other wineries, and we have a lot of good things going on in our community, and we support those. But I really do think that we need to find that midpoint somewhere in the middle where we can say this is the distillery district, or in a rural area.
Yeah.
This is where we can build warehouses. Hoping we can find that.
Right.
We can have warehouses in this area.
Yeah.
Yes, there are going to be some people that, there's anti-warehouses, there's anti-anything
Yeah.
in the county, and I know that. That's this one side. But if we can find that middle ground.
Is there going to be any kind of format or forum where everyone from both sides are going to have the chance to speak and have their input heard by the people who will be making these decisions?
The 29th of March,
Okay.
I believe at 5 o'clock at KSU Bradford Hall, there will be a public hearing
Okay.
format for that.
Okay. We look forward to that.
Oh yeah, it will be interesting. It'll be interesting.
Oh, we've gone on. They keep waving at me, so.
Okay.
But I do appreciate you coming and sharing your expertise with us and things that are going on here with the fiscal court. Now I'm going to turn it over to you and let you look into the camera and speak directly to our voters and tell them, why they need to vote for you on May 17th.
No more questions?
I mean, we could stay here
Yeah,
forever.
I know.
but
I
I'm
like
ready to
that.
go.
Those are great questions. And thank you for those questions.
Sure.
Thank you for this opportunity. I am County Judge Huston Wells, and I'm seeking a third term. And as we all know, we've gone through it. We went through it together. I want to say this, Franklin County, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of everyone and how you've endured and how you've handled this COVID crisis that we've gone through. We're on the back end of it, knocking on wood, hopefully. I think we are. As we can sit here and talk without masks, things are getting better, and you have helped that be the case. So thank you so much. With that being said, these are such challenging times, even with COVID getting better. You look at the economy, you look at gas prices, you look at the cost of groceries. And even the possibility of war, and war going on in Europe. So the times are difficult, and that's saying it mildly. But we can get through this, and we can get through this together. And because of the times and what we've gone through and what is in front of us, we need experienced leadership. We need someone that understands you. We need someone that knows how to get help when we need it. And I'm that person. I'm asking you for your vote on May the 17th in the Democratic primary. And I appreciate the opportunity so much. I've been so blessed that you've allowed me to serve you so many years. Experience does matter. Please vote for Huston Wells County Judge Executive. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. If you want to find out more about the judge, you can check him out there. He's on social media, and he is our current county judge. So you can just look at our county government webpage to find out other things that are happening. We do appreciate your time, and I know that our viewers appreciate hearing from you directly. And to our viewers, I want to thank you for listening and to remind you to get out and go vote on May 17th. Because it is election season, and this is your opportunity to get informed and then go voice your choice. We'll see you next time.